The Myanmar is more important to them strategically than Bangladesh. Myanmar itself, in 1948 when Myanmar became independent, it was the most developed country of the Southeast Asia. It was more developed than Thailand or Vietnam or Malaysia. But today it is the least developed just because they have shut the doors from outside. But I shall concentrate myself to the security aspect. That has already been covered, but I will further elaborate just a few minutes. First is the threat of insurgency. Myanmar today is plagued with about more than a dozen insurgency, and some of them are as old as 1948 when Burma became independent. Because when it was independent on the ground that all the various ethnic groups will be given their identity, and also it will be a Myanmar Republic. But when that was denied. In the insurgency like the Karens and the Shans, if you go on the Googles and you will see that, for example, the Shan state is almost as big as Bangladesh itself. And it is during daytime, it is under the Burmese control. At night, it is the Shan state army controls that. Same way with the Karens. And it's spread all around the border areas. And for that matter, the Rohingyas were very, very peaceful, and there was no insurgency there till the time they were driven out from their home. All these smaller ethnic groups, they don't want to be part of Burma or Myanmar. They want separate states. Whereas these guys, they want to be part of Myanmar, and the larger Burmese, ethnic groups, they don't want to recognize them there, and they have pushed them out. So it's a very sad situation. So we have, in close to Bangladesh borders, we have this ARSA and RSO, and also the Arakan army, which is sympathetic to the cause of Rohingyas, but not really composed of Rohingyas. They are the Rakhine, ethnic groups. They are fighting, and often this fight spills over to inside Bangladesh, and we have problems with our border, which otherwise is marked and had been very peaceful all these years. And there is also the danger of radicalizations, because imagine 1.2 million people concentrated in such a small area with no future, no hope. What they don't know about their future of their own life, their own children. And that is the time when people can be radicalized. And with quite often money coming from Middle Eastern countries, there is a chance of various Islamic groups growing up there. But so far, it has been very marginal. But the longer this remains unresolved, the greater is the danger. Then, of course, the arms trafficking and drugs. Again, I'm not going to stigmatize I'm against stigmatizing any, community. But in a community when there is high joblessness, there is a despair, they can always fall victim to the international arms traders and drug traders, and in which, of course, many may be involved, as he said, Asif Munish said, some big shots working on both sides of the border or maybe in the international areas. Then also there is the danger of within the Rohingya groups, and it's growing, is the civil and domestic fratricidal conflict because of the leadership and all that uncertain future. So this conflict can be not only between Bangladesh and Myanmar, this can be already spill over the region, and in which the whole region can suffer. It is already this conflict has been an obstacle to the regional cooperation. The Trans-Asian Railroad and the Trans-Asian Highway, and especially the BCIM, Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar road concept, which was supposed to go from Kolkata to Kunming. And this was, should have been completed long back. And we have done our job. Our road is both from the Sylhet side and also on the Chittagong side, up to Gondom, the roads are ready. But because of Myanmar's not giving, the permission for it to progress, the whole project is stalled, and we all are suffering. Because imagine this railway and road communication would have opened, it would have opened, the economic benefit would be for everybody, including the Myanmar. It's very unfortunate that the present military regime of Myanmar is not only throttling the minorities, they are throttling the progress of their own people. Because Myanmar itself, in 1948 when Myanmar became independent, it was the most developed country of the Southeast Asia. It was more developed than Thailand or Vietnam or Malaysia. But today it is the least developed just because they have shut the doors from outside. Unfortunately for Bangladesh, those who could influence the Rohingyas in our own neighborhood, both from India and China, we haven't got enough support. And that is because to them, the Myanmar, whether it is a democratic government or military government, the Myanmar is more important to them strategically than Bangladesh. Because, China, for China, it's access to the Bay of Bengal. They already have a small presence in Sitaway, the previous Akiab, and that's the way they want to come to, it's much easier also for trade and commerce. Instead of going around the Sumatra Strait and Singapore and all, they can cut from Kunming, they can come to Akiab or Yangon and do business with the Middle East and all. So it's a shorter way for them. It's very important for them. And second thing is the access to the Myanmar is oil, gas, various other minerals. So whichever is the government in Burma, China will not shift too much. And now to balance China, that India also wants to have a close relationship with Myanmar. Because if they leave them, then it will go further towards China, which they don't want, because they have a long border with Myanmar, which is also very unstable. As I said, many of the groups like these Chins and Kachins, these are fighting, and some of them are, they have camps inside India. Sometimes the insurgents of India have camps inside Myanmar. And so this is a very volatile border, and we have seen recently what has happened in Manipur. These are the spillover of some of the effects of the instability that is along the whole border. So India is very cautious in extending their support to Bangladesh cause, the Rohingya cause, and China, of course, will take a step, but not beyond that. So unfortunately, that's where we stand today. From IOC, from OIC, again, nothing beyond the legal process in through Gambia, a very small state in Africa. But if we see the economic clout of Saudi Arabia today, or Iran, or Turkey, or Egypt, as far as the Rohingya issue is concerned, there's not much of any progress. So that's where we stand. And as Munir has covered, or Professor Karzani Sahab, there is some future, in the glimmer of hope in the horizon. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that it will take a long time, and Bangladesh must continue to explore every possibilities. And also we must open our door to the Myanmar, the government in exile, and also the forces which are sympathetic to the Myanmar, to the Rohingya cause, and convince them that it is for their own interest, not only the Rohingyas' interest, for their own interest of Myanmar, that they should solve this problem as early as possible. Thank you very much.